In the Wheel of Time universe, two of the most powerful women are Lanfear and Moiraine, each representing opposing forces of light and shadow. Lanfear, one of the Forsaken, is a figure of darkness, obsession, and ambition, while Moiraine is an Aes Sedai who walks the path of light, guided by wisdom, duty, and sacrifice. Their conflict, and their respective roles within the series, not only pits them against each other in terms of magical power, but also highlights the thematic battle between the forces of good and evil. In terms of personal relationships, Lanfear and Moiraine are equally intriguing, though for vastly different reasons. One is a lover driven by an obsessive desire for power and control, while the other is a lover whose devotion and loyalty reflect honor and a deep sense of selflessness. This video will explore the differences between Lanfear and Moiraine in terms of power, character, and love, and why both characters leave a lasting impact on the world of the Wheel of Time. The power of Lanfear. Lanfear, born as Moiraine Aeronale in the Age of Legends, was once one of the most powerful Aes Sedai in existence, specializing in the manipulation of the One Power. Her arrogance and ambition eventually led her down a dark path, where she became one of the Forsaken, the Dark One's most trusted followers. Lanfear's mastery of the One Power, particularly her ability to control Tel'aran'rhiod, the world of dreams, sets her apart from most other characters in the series. She is skilled in both combat and manipulation, using her beauty and intellect to further her own desires and to try to gain the affection of Tel'aran'rhiod, the man she once loved. In many ways, Lanfear embodies the seductive and destructive nature of the Dark One's influence, driven by jealousy, obsession, and a thirst for absolute control. Her love for Tel'aran'rhiod, even in his current incarnation as Rand al'Thor, remains a driving force behind her actions. Lanfear's power is undeniable, and her relentless pursuit of dominance makes her a terrifying and formidable opponent. The power of Moiraine. Moiraine Daemodred, though not as physically overpowering as Lanfear, is a force to be reckoned with in her own right. As an Aes Sedai of the Blue Ajah, Moiraine is deeply committed to the cause of the light, guiding Rand al'Thor and the other key characters through their destiny. Moraine's strength lies in her discipline, intelligence, and tactical mind, rather than in raw destructive power. Though she is powerful in the use of the One Power, her greatest strength is her ability to manipulate events from behind the scenes, using her wit and understanding of politics and prophecy. Moiraine also shares a special bond with her warder, Lan Mandragoran, a relationship that provides her with strength and insight in moments of doubt. Her use of the One Power is often subtle but highly effective. She rarely uses it recklessly, instead saving it for moments where it is absolutely necessary. Moraine's dedication to her mission and her understanding of the larger world make her a powerful, if not flashy, character whose true strength lies in her unwavering commitment to the greater good. Who is the most powerful? When comparing the powers of Lanfear and Moiraine, it is clear that Lanfear holds an edge in raw magical ability. Her mastery of the One Power, coupled with her knowledge of Tel'aran'rhiod, gives her a distinct advantage in terms of combat and manipulation. Lanfear's ability to weave complex patterns of the One Power with ease and her proficiency in the world of dreams make her an extremely dangerous adversary. However, Moraine's power comes from her strategic mind, her ability to influence events without relying solely on magical force. While she may not be able to challenge Lanfear in terms of raw power, Moraine's tactical brilliance and her deep understanding of the balance between the light and the dark give her the ability to overcome seemingly insurmountable odds. In the end, Lanfear's power is more overt, while Moraine's is more subtle, making it difficult to measure which of the two is truly more powerful. It's important to remember that power in the Wheel of Time isn't just about the One Power. It's also about influence, intellect, and the ability to shape the world around you. Lanfear as a lover. Lanfear's role as a lover is inextricably tied to her obsession with Tel'aran'rhiod, Rand al'Thor. Her feelings for him are not born out of mutual respect or genuine affection, but out of an all-consuming desire for possession. Lanfear views Tel'aran'rhiod, and later Rand, as her rightful partner, and her love is fueled by jealousy, anger, and a deep sense of entitlement. She is willing to manipulate, betray, and destroy anyone who stands in her way to reclaim Lews Therin's affection. Her love is twisted, rooted in control and domination, rather than respect or equality. She is not interested in love as a shared bond, but rather as a means to an end. Her desire to bend Lews Therin to her will, to make him love her the way she demands, and to use their connection to elevate her position in the world. This toxic, possessive nature makes her a deeply flawed character, and her pursuit of Rand al'Thor is ultimately a manifestation of her need for power, not genuine romantic connection. Moiraine as a lover. In contrast, Moraine's role as a lover is characterized by selflessness, loyalty, and deep emotional commitment. Although her relationship with Lan Mandragoran is initially bound by the water bond, it eventually evolves into something far more profound. Moraine's love for Lan is not just about passion, it's about mutual respect, sacrifice, and understanding. Unlike Lanfear, Moiraine doesn't seek to possess Lan. Rather, she values him for who he is and the bond they share. Moraine's devotion to Lan is demonstrated not only through her actions, but also through her willingness to make difficult choices for his well-being. She does not manipulate him for her own gain, nor does she view their relationship as a tool to achieve her goals. Instead, Moraine's love is rooted in care and concern, and it is her willingness to prioritize Lan's happiness over her own that ultimately shows the depth of her emotional capacity. She loves him in a way that is free from the toxicity and control that Lanfear exhibits, making her a far more admirable lover. Who is the better woman? When considering who is the better woman between Lanfear and Moiraine, it's important to look at both their strengths and flaws. Lanfear may be more powerful and ambitious, but her actions are driven by selfishness, obsession, and a desire for control. Her love for Lews Therin, Rand al'Thor, is twisted and toxic, and her pursuit of him leads her down a path of destruction. Moiraine, on the other hand, is a woman of integrity, wisdom, and sacrifice. Her love for Lan is not manipulative or controlling, but rather a mutual, respectful bond built on trust and shared purpose. While Moiraine may not possess the same raw power as Lanfear, her character is far more admirable, as she consistently chooses the greater good over personal desires. Moiraine represents the ideals of the light, compassion, loyalty, and selflessness, while Lanfear embodies the destructive power of obsession and unchecked ambition. In the end, Moiraine is the better woman, not because she is perfect, but because her strength comes from her wisdom and emotional depth, whereas Lanfear's strength is marred by her inability to love without seeking control. The ultimate showdown between light and shadow. In the battle of Lanfear versus Moiraine, we see two women with immense power, but with vastly different philosophies, motivations, and relationships. Lanfear is driven by her lust for power and her obsession with Rand al'Thor, while Moraine's actions are shaped by duty, sacrifice, and her unwavering commitment to the light. While Lanfear may be more powerful in terms of raw magical ability, Moraine's true strength lies in her wisdom, tactical mind, and selflessness. When it comes to love, Lanfear's obsession with Lews Therin, Rand, leads her down a dark path of manipulation and destruction, while Moraine's love for Lan is characterized by respect, sacrifice, and loyalty. Ultimately, Moiraine is the more admirable figure, as she embodies the qualities of honor, devotion, and personal growth. In the end, Lanfear may be the more dangerous woman, but Moiraine is the one whose heart and soul shine the brightest. The aftermath. The fates of Lanfear and Moiraine differ dramatically in the Wheel of Time, and their ultimate paths reflect the core themes of the series: the struggle between light and shadow, sacrifice, and redemption. Lanfear's obsession with Rand al'Thor leads her down a dark and destructive path. After being free from the Dark One's imprisonment, Lanfear's actions become more erratic as she becomes fixated on reclaiming Rand. Her manipulative nature and her refusal to accept her own limitations ultimately bring her into direct conflict with Rand, Moiraine, and the forces of the light. Lanfear's inability to recognize the consequences of her actions, particularly her constant scheming, ultimately leads to her downfall. She is not just defeated by the forces of the light, but also undone by her own inability to let go of her toxic obsession. Her journey is one of decline, where her power and her pride ultimately destroy her, leaving her with no redemption, only ruin. In contrast, Moiraine's journey is one of self-sacrifice and growth. Though she is put in a perilous situation, losing the one power after being shielded, Moiraine does not lose her resolve. Instead of descending into despair or seeking vengeance, she continues to play a vital role in the narrative by offering guidance and wisdom to Rand and the others. Moiraine's fate is shaped by the understanding that her true strength lies not in her magical abilities, but in her dedication to the cause and her unwavering belief in the necessity of sacrifice. Even when she is separated from her warder Lan by the twists of fate, Moiraine continues to fight for the light in other ways. She is ultimately a character defined by her perseverance and her ability to adapt to difficult circumstances. Unlike Lanfear, Moiraine's journey is not defined by obsession or control. It is a journey of resilience, selflessness, and undying loyalty to the greater good. The role of love in their fate. Love plays a central role in shaping the fates of both Lanfear and Moiraine, but it affects them in entirely different ways. For Lanfear, love is something that she seeks to control and manipulate. Her obsession with Lews Therin, Rand al'Thor, drives every decision she makes, and her inability to see love as an equal partnership fuels her descent into madness. She does not understand love as something reciprocal. Instead, she sees it as something to possess and dominate. This inability to love freely and unconditionally ultimately leads to her undoing. Lanfear's obsessive love isolates her from others, and in the end, it is this very obsession that prevents her from achieving any form of happiness or redemption. Moiraine, on the other hand, represents a different kind of love. Her relationship with Lan is not one of possession but of mutual respect and devotion. Moiraine's love is grounded in sacrifice and the willingness to put others' needs above her own. She does not demand anything from Lan, but instead offers him a partnership that is based on equality, understanding, and support. Her love for Lan is a key part of her emotional depth, but it is also one that she is willing to let go of when necessary, as seen when she releases him from the warder bond. Moiraine's love is not manipulative, but transformative, both for herself and for the world around her. In contrast to Lanfear, whose love destroys, Moiraine's love builds and strengthens the people around her. Thematic implications. Lanfear and Moiraine are more than just characters. They represent the broader themes of the Wheel of Time itself. Lanfear embodies the seductive and corrupting nature of power when it is pursued out of selfish desire. Her obsession with Rand al'Thor, driven by her need for control, echoes the dangers of letting personal ambitions cloud one's judgment. Lanfear is a tragic figure because she is a reflection of the Dark One's influence. She cannot let go of her past, her pride, or her need for domination. In this way, Lanfear represents the darker side of the human experience, obsession, envy, and the destructive nature of unchecked power. Moiraine, conversely, represents the light's counterbalance, the sacrifice, the wisdom, and the resolve that come with walking a path of duty. Her strength is not rooted in ego or power, but in the willingness to serve others and put the greater good above personal desires. Moiraine's journey shows that true strength lies in the ability to endure hardship, make difficult choices, and sacrifice oneself for the sake of others. Her character is a testament to the importance of selflessness, and while she is not without flaws, her flaws do not consume her the way they do with Lanfear. Moiraine's journey is ultimately a journey of redemption, not for herself, but for the world she strives to save. In this way, she embodies the theme of light's triumph over shadow, not through brute force, but through wisdom, love, and sacrifice. The origins of Lanfear and Moiraine. Lanfear's journey begins long before she becomes a Forsaken. As Moiraine Aeronale, she was a brilliant Aes Sedai in the Age of Legends, focused on studying and understanding the One Power. She was fiercely intelligent, ambitious, and motivated by a need to push boundaries and explore the limits of the power. Moiraine's obsession with gaining more control over the One Power led her to make a dangerous alliance with the Dark One, and she was ultimately corrupted by him. It was not just her quest for power, but also her desire for Lews Therin Tellaman's affection that pulled her into the shadow. She betrayed her colleagues and sought out the Dark One, believing she could control the One Power and reshape the world to her liking. In contrast, Moiraine's origins are far more humble. Born as a noblewoman in the kingdom of Cairhien, Moiraine's family was not particularly wealthy or influential. However, her ambition and natural affinity for the One Power made her a perfect candidate for the Aes Sedai. She joined the Blue Ajah and quickly became one of its most respected members. Unlike Lanfear, who was consumed by her need for personal power and control, Moiraine's motivations were always tied to the greater good. Her decision to become a part of the Aes Sedai was driven by her desire to help protect the world, especially when she learned of the prophecy surrounding the Dragon Reborn. Moiraine's strength was not in her bloodline or her ambition, but in her unwavering commitment to the light and her role in shaping the world's destiny. Influences on Rand al'Thor. One of the most defining aspects of both Lanfear and Moiraine's roles in the Wheel of Time is their relationship with Rand al'Thor. Lanfear's obsession with Rand, who she believes is the reincarnation of Lews Therin Tellaman, dominates her actions. She sees Rand not only as a tool to be manipulated, but as her rightful partner in the shadow. Lanfear's attempts to seduce Rand are not born out of genuine affection, but rather a compulsive desire to recreate the relationship she had with Lews Therin in the Age of Legends. She believes that with Rand at her side, she could restore the world to what it once was, under her control. Her constant attempts to sway Rand to her side, whether through emotional manipulation or direct force, serve to demonstrate the extent to which she is willing to go to possess him. Moiraine's relationship with Rand, on the other hand, is rooted in a different kind of connection. While Moiraine also recognizes Rand's importance as the Dragon Reborn, her role is not to manipulate him, but to guide and protect him. She understands the immense burden Rand carries and is one of the few people who sees the complexity of his situation. Moiraine's relationship with Rand is one of trust, mentorship, and respect. Though Rand resents her interference at times, Moiraine's wisdom and experience are invaluable in his journey. She becomes his most reliable advisor, helping him navigate the dangerous waters of politics, battle, and prophecy. While Lanfear seeks to break Rand, Moiraine seeks to strengthen him, not by controlling him, but by helping him recognize his own power and responsibility. The stark contrast in their approaches toward Rand highlights one of the central themes of the Wheel of Time: the power of choice. Lanfear sees Rand as a means to an end, whereas Moiraine sees him as a person with a destiny to fulfill. Their differing methods showcase the dichotomy between the shadow and the light. Lanfear seeks to control and dominate, while Moiraine seeks to guide and protect. The final word. When it comes down to it, the comparison between Lanfear and Moiraine is one of contrast rather than direct competition. Lanfear may have the advantage of raw power, but Moiraine's strength is drawn from her understanding, emotional intelligence, and unwavering commitment to the light. Lanfear's power comes from a place of darkness, rooted in pride and obsession, while Moiraine's power comes from a place of light, driven by loyalty and selflessness. In the end, Lanfear's obsession with Rand and her quest for control lead to her ultimate destruction, while Moiraine's enduring commitment to the greater good leads her to become a true hero in the eyes of many. While Lanfear might be seen as the more powerful of the two in a conventional sense, thanks to her mastery of the One Power and her influence within the shadow, it is Moiraine who truly embodies the heroic qualities that resonate with readers and viewers alike. Moiraine's legacy is built on her ability to endure, to love, and to sacrifice for the world around her. In the end, it is Moiraine's strength of character, rather than raw power, that makes her one of the most compelling and admirable characters in the Wheel of Time. Power, love, and legacy. The contrast between Lanfear and Moiraine is striking, not only in their magical abilities, but in their approaches to life, love, and their roles within the story. Lanfear's power is rooted in obsession and manipulation, while Moiraine's strength comes from wisdom, loyalty, and sacrifice. Lanfear's journey is ultimately one of self-destruction, while Moiraine's is one of growth and redemption. As lovers, Lanfear's desire for Rand is destructive, while Moiraine's love for Lan is selfless and built on mutual respect. Their relationships with others and their impact on the world reveal the ultimate difference between light and shadow. Lanfear's path is one of isolation and obsession, while Moiraine's is one of connection and sacrifice. In the end, the Wheel of Time shows us that true power lies not in domination, but in the ability to love, to guide, and to sacrifice. Moiraine, through her strength of character and her commitment to the greater good, embodies the ideals of the light, while Lanfear, consumed by her desire for control, ultimately serves as a warning about the dangers of unchecked ambition. The true measure of a person's power is not in the force they wield, but in how they choose to use it, for good or for evil.